Stop painting landscapes without first understanding the light code. Because until you understand how the light is working, you're looking at 1,000 random colors, shapes, and details with no way to organize them. It just feels like chaos. The light code can change that. Every landscape has one, and despite how technical that sounds, it's actually very simple. It's just understanding the rules for how light is behaving in that scene. Once you know those rules, you have a framework that helps you translate what you're seeing into a painting. Take this landscape, for example. The sun is high in the sky, catching the tops and edges of the trees, almost backlit, but everything in the shadow is following a completely different set of rules. The only light reaching those bushes and grasses is the cool blue reflected light from the sky. That tells me they'll stay compressed in value and gradually get lighter and cooler as they rise. Now I'm not trying to paint hundreds of little details. I'm just following the light. And that's what makes the entire scene so much easier to understand and so much easier to paint. All right, welcome to Paint Coach. If you're new to the channel, my name's Chris Fornatero, and I'm here to help you get better at oil painting faster. All right, now when I say light code and understanding how lights work in the scene, I know that can sound very complicated. When I first heard it when I was learning to paint, like I avoided it because it sounded technical and just difficult to understand. But I'm gonna make it very, very simple. And I think that by the end of this video, you're gonna look at painting landscapes completely differently and hopefully a lot more simply and a lot less intimidating. All right, so here we got the photo and the painting. First thing I like to do is just separate what's in light, what's in shadow. And you can very easily see that, pretty much this is all in light, and then this is all in shadow. And so I'm going to try and find a light code for the light code for the shadow. And all the light code is just what's the light doing? Like, where's the sun pretty much. So in the part that's in the sun, where is the sun? Well, you can't see the sun, but you can figure out where it is based off of how it's hitting the trees. This is actually, this little tree here is like a perfect example. This is all in shadow and the light's kind of hitting the top. So it's almost kind of backlit, like, probably from above, maybe a little more towards the light. The sun's kind of coming kind of like that. And actually this type of tree is kind of like the easiest in my opinion to paint because it's just so simple. Like backlit type trees, you can kind of just have it be this one shadow shape, and then the outer rim is where it's catching all the light. And you just kind of do that and it's going to read, So let me just put that up here. So let's just kind of show you. Say that's like a little tree. It's going to be mostly in shadow, and then our light code, light is hitting it from top, kind of from the back. And so once I know that, I can kind of paint and make up trees and do whatever I want because I know where the light's coming from. And now I'm not relying on being able to see everything. It's like you can only paint what you see. It's like, no, like I know the light code, like I know how light's hitting trees, because I do end up simplifying this area right here. And the way I can do that is, because you look at, all this, mess happening there, is because I have the light code, and you can see that's what I did. It's a very simple, we got the shadow and then we got the light. So right there, I can just kind of take that color. So what I ended up doing was just that for shadow and that for the light. And the same thing as it gets further away, but just introducing some atmospheric perspective. So it gets cooler as it gets further back. So that's the shadow. And that's the light. And since I know the light code, I know how the light is hitting it, I can very easily simplify and make that up. Now let's go to the shadow. This is a little more complicated. It's actually not complicated. What am I saying? It's not complicated. So what's happening in the shadows, there's still light getting there because you can see it. So what light is getting there? It's the light coming from the sky. We have some clouds and some blue sky, and when it's just like a clear blue sky, a lot of times the light hitting it will be very, very cool because it's just blue reflected light. Like imagine just holding like a blue sheet of paper above you, and the light that's hitting it's going to reflect down, just kind of like if you're wearing a blue shirt, light will be reflecting up some blue light to you. So the same thing is happening here, but there's some clouds, so it's not like super, super cool. And that's hard to tell in the photo, but let me just kind of point it out to you here. So this always helps describe what I'm saying. Let's just say we have kind of a mass. It's going to make it just a big lump, like a big piece of clay or mass. The bottom down here, it's going to be the darkest. That's where there's no light. The ambient light's coming from above. But as it gets closer, it goes up. It's going to get slightly lighter. In this case, a little bit cooler, but still kind of gray. Again, if it was like a full blue sky, no clouds, it would get a lot cooler. And so I can kind of go, see if I can find even lighter. Kind of something like that. So now it's a lot easier to paint all of this down here because I know that's what's happening. So you can see in these grasses, like down here, down towards the bottom, it's darker and it progressively gets lighter as it goes up. But since it's just like ambient light, it's not like direct harsh sunlight, that change from dark to light is going to be very subtle. You know, it's not a huge shift from this to this. That's not a big shift. Whereas over here, you know, this is a bigger shift. You know, especially over here where it's closer. That's a much, much bigger shift from light to dark. So that's what's going on there. Now, one more thing I kind of want to point out, which is what is happening like right here, which is that sunlight is coming and it's shining. You know, again, it's backlit, it's from above, so it's actually shining through leaves. Any of these areas where you see like very saturated leaves, that's because the sun is shining through the leaves. You'll see this in grass, like if you're looking at like a field and there's grass and the sun's this way, a lot of times it's shining through and it's kind of illuminating it. And it's getting that kind of glowing saturated effect. So I know when I go in to paint this, I want those lights to be more saturated than anything else. And since I know that, I don't have to like go to the photo and like look for find every single leaf, copy it. Like I know the light code. So if I want to put those backlit leaves glowing anywhere I want, like I can do that. And so that's what I did there. So that's pretty much the light code. You know, this is what's happening in the light, kind of that backlit. This is what's happening in the shadows, that ambient light coming down. Very simple. Just understanding that it's going to make everything so much easier. You're going to be able to see so much more. You're going to be able to simplify so much more. But now I'm going to actually walk you through the demonstration and show you how I did this. All right, before I walk you through the tutorial, I just want to let you know that if you want to see this full tutorial and literally hundreds of other painting tutorials all done by me, you can inside Paint Coach Studio. I'll put a link to where you can check it out in the description of this video. The first thing I do is work through what I call the Paint Coach method, which is built around the 3 S's of oil painting: simplify, shape, and sharpen. So I always begin with the simplify stage. My goal here is to reduce the entire scene down to big, simple shapes of flat color. I'm not worrying about details yet. I'm just trying to get the color relationships and the value relationships working. At this stage, my paint is fairly thin. You know, it's not watercolor thin, but I do thin it with my Gambling Gam salt. It's like a mineral spirits. So it's easy to paint over later. Then I simply work shape by shape until the entire canvas is covered. By the end of this stage, the painting should already work. If it doesn't, this is the time to fix it. If something that should be in the sunlight feels like it's in shadow or vice versa, I stop and I adjust it now. It's much easier to solve those problems before you start adding detail. Now it's time to move into the shape stage. One thing I like to establish early is my darkest darks. If you think about it, those areas represent the deepest parts of the painting, so it makes sense for them to physically sit at the bottom of the paint layers. Then I gradually build lighter values on top. As I work into the grasses and bushes, I'm constantly thinking about the light code. Remember, these shadow grasses are only being lit by the cool light reflected from the sky. But even with that shadow, there are subtle shifts. Near the ground, they'll be darker. And as the grass rises, it catches a little more of that skylight and becomes slightly lighter and cooler. That tiny shift is what gives the grass volume instead of making it look like a flat strip of green. The same idea applies to the foliage in the shadows. Now I move into the tree where the sunlight is shining through the leaves. Whenever light passes through leaves like this, it becomes incredibly saturated. That's really all I'm thinking about here. I'm not trying to copy every leaf from the reference. I'm simply recreating the way the light is behaving. I also start placing little pockets of dappled light. These aren't random, they're compositional tools. I often place them strategically to help lead your eye through the painting. For example, I added some dappled light on the bushes to the left because it naturally pulls your attention toward that part of the scene. As I move into the background trees, the light code gives me the freedom to stop copying the reference exactly. Once I understand how the light is working, I can make changes that improve the painting without breaking the illusion. I also start using atmospheric perspective. Each row of trees becomes a little cooler, a little less yellow, and slightly less saturated. At the same time, the value contrast between the lights and darks becomes smaller and smaller as the trees recede into the distance. Those two changes alone create a convincing sense of depth. Finally, I move into the sharpen stage. By now, all the important decisions have already been made. The composition works, the values work, the light code is working. That means I'm free to focus on the fun part, adding selective details, sharpening a few areas, and making those final adjustments that bring the painting to life.